Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world. Now, I need to tell you this story of this family. It's very, very important. And there's a lot of other sort of bigger crime stories, if you like, in the news at the moment. And you may not have heard of this story. Of course, it's not a story, it's a true thing that happened. So, we're going to talk about the Koch family, Koch. We're going to talk about Jeremy Koch, 42 years old, Bailey Koch, 41 years old, and their two sons, Hudson, 18, and Asher, 16. So, first of all, I just want to show you a photo of this family. And I think it's very important to see these few photos that I'm going to show you. Look how happy they look. See those smiles? A husband, a wife, two sons, all look very happy. Looks like a nice family picture. On holiday there by the look of it. On the beach, more smiles. How many families do we see like this? How many, when you go through social media, well, all photos are like this, aren't they, on social media? Because people don't put their photos on normally, do they, of when they're fed up, depressed, arguing or whatever. These are the sort of photos that we see. And quite often we think, oh, look, they look really happy. And why aren't we as happy as that, for example, we might. So, yeah, there is Nebraska, right there, bang in the center of the United States, surrounded by Wyoming, South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, etc. The only thing I really know about Nebraska is there was an episode in The Walking Dead that was named Nebraska, I think, and Nebraska featured in it. Literally, that's the only thing I know about it. So maybe there's some of you out there, some of my American followers. I have a lot of American followers who either live, maybe some of you live in Nebraska or know something more about it. But that's where this family lives. So going back to the pictures, they sit. Oh, I'll just show a bigger picture actually. Can I extend that a little bit? Yeah. See where it is? I mean, the USA is a big place, of course, but there it literally is right in the middle, isn't it? Couldn't get much more in the middle than that, really. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. So that's where this family lives. And let's have another look at them. Look like a nice, wholesome family. As I say, all these photos that I think are from the social media, the mother's social media, Bailey. Lovely photos. Now, what these photos aren't showing us is that Bailey's husband, Jeremy, 42 years old, there he is with the sort of camouflage cap on in the centre of the photo, he's suffering from depression. Now, apparently, May is Mental Health Month. So that's another reason why I wanted to... There's a few reasons why I wanted to tell the story of this family. One is because I want, to show just how you just never know from social media what's really going on behind the scenes. Also because it's Mental Health Month. And I think there's probably a lot of people out there who can sympathize with this story or empathize with this story. Nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors. Nobody knows what people are going through in their everyday life, even if the photos that they put up on social media are like this one. You just don't know. You have no idea what is going on, what people are coping with. Anyway, so Bailey very recently set up a GoFundMe page. Let's have a look at that. Jeremy's battle, mental health support needed. So this is Jeremy when he must have been admitted to hospital for some reason. I see that they have raised $20,000, nearly $21,000 so far. Bailey organised the fundraiser, and this is what she said. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so here we are making you aware. We are as vanilla as it gets, middle class Nebraska family. I'm a special education teacher, and my husband runs our family landscaping and greenhouse services business that we've owned for the last 19 years. We have 2 teenage boys. The oldest will graduate high school next week, and then move to California for a 3-year bonsai apprenticeship. Yes, he's a pretty cool kid. Our youngest is a freshman and a rock star golfer on the varsity team. Proud parents here. But my husband tries to kill himself a lot. Diagnosed with severe depression in 2009, we spent years living in the dark, telling nobody our truth. We finally began sharing our reality in 2015, after Jeremy had survived at least 4 attempts. The worst was near fatal in 2012, a car accident in which he drove straight into a semi on the highway. He was left with a leg broken in 4 places, punctured lung, fractured pancreas, complete colon reconstruction, brain bleed, and still depression. When he awoke, I was in awe and relieved. He was destroyed that his attempt had not worked. But my husband fights for his mental health harder than anyone I know. He knows his brain lies to him, that we are not better off without him here. He actually went 7 years without experiencing dark thoughts. But all that changed in July of 2024. So here's the short story. Jeremy has been mostly unable to work since August, only off and on. This means our family business is struggling, because if you know what it's like to be a small business owner, you'll know the hours are long and the stress is enormous. Jeremy and I both cashed out our retirement accounts in December and January in order to pay bills and debt. We haven't paid Jeremy since August. We are living on my teacher salary alone. In March, just a couple of months ago, I woke to Jeremy shaking me awake, saying, "Something is wrong." He was standing over my bed with a knife, ready to end his life. I was able to talk him down and into accepting help. He went to our safe place, Richard Young Hospital in Kearney in Nebraska, for inpatient mental health treatment for the 4th time in our marriage, and he stayed for 4 nights and 5 days. They tried to level out meds and keep him safe. It was then that we all decided Jeremy may benefit from electroconvulsive therapy treatments for his mental health, since he had been denied ketamine infusions twice. It was to perform a factory reset on my hottie hubby. It didn't work. Jeremy became a shell of himself. We stopped treatments on Monday, April the 28th, because symptoms were becoming progressively worse. Jeremy cannot get out of his bed unless forced. He does not eat or drink unless I make him. He cannot take his meds or remember how to function as the very busy and loving adult he truly is. Today I brought Jeremy to the ER. He has been diagnosed with severe dehydration and nutrition deficiency, mental health crisis, failure to thrive. Our safe place, Richard Young Hospital, doesn't have enough beds to take a failure to thrive case, as they must keep room for immediately suicidal individuals. It's not their fault. This is mental health care in our world. It's all put back on the caregivers. Those of us who love the individuals struggling with mental illness and trying desperately to help. Enter our local COSAD hospital. They admitted my husband and they are hydrating and feeding him with watchful eyes. And I know they're doing it because they know I don't know what else to do. He will die if he continues like this. And Jeremy's doctors are doing their best with this love of my life, who is both med resistant and med sensitive. By not eating or drinking, Jeremy is slowly completing suicide. So here I am asking for help. I have taken out every penny we have to pay bills. My retirement is gone. Jeremy's retirement is gone. I have begun the process of looking into selling our family business because the stress is too much on my husband and nothing is worth losing him. So we will give it all up. Jesus, take the wheel. I have no pride left. Mental illness is taking my husband from me, and I'm begging you to open your eyes and see the reality that is this society's mental health crisis. And they cut funding from mental health programs. And we will see more of this when kids like my husband, who grew up being told they must be perfect and always put on a happy face, buck up, buttercup, and don't show weakness, are not taught how to express emotions and accept help. If we can raise funds, I can keep our small business going, or pay the loans, or sell. What I do know is I need help, and my husband's brain won't let him help me. So I'm on my own, and I have no problem asking you. Then we can continue to share our story far and wide. Welcome to May, Mental Health Awareness Month. This is our reality. Please share and help us raise funds. So we can see a lot of people have, responded, and there is nearly $21,000 in that GoFundMe account. So, that is what Bailey, in the end, was forced to do. Unfortunately, this story of this family ended on Saturday. So last Saturday, which was the 10th of May, all 4 members of this family were found dead at home. And it's thought that it was a triple murder suicide. So let me just read to you what is said that happened. Again, another photo here that I'm going to show you of this, what looks like such a lovely family and all these smiles. Just shows you how a smile can hide heartbreak. Smile means nothing, does it? I mean, it means a brave face and it's infectious. It's lovely to see them all smiling. But unfortunately, it did not portray the reality of what was happening. So now their family, Bailey's family and the rest of them's family, are calling for more accessible mental health. Bailey Koch, 41, her husband Jeremy, 42, and their sons Hudson, 18, and Asher, 16. And after a preliminary investigation, authorities say they believe that Jeremy killed his family before taking his own life. All 4 had fatal stab wounds and a knife was found at the scene. So Lane and Peggy Kugler, the parents of Bailey, said Jeremy had struggled with his mental health for years and his wife was trying to get help for him. His depression had turned into psychosis. It was not Jeremy that committed this horrific act. It was a sick mind. Bailey, Jeremy and the boys' faith was very strong. It really helped them through the worst of times. We find strength in our belief that heaven now has 4 new angels sitting at the right hand of God. They are together and Jeremy's sickness is gone. And the couple said that Bailey and her children lived in fear of the possibility of losing her husband and their father to mental illness for many years. So they went through a lot, didn't they? Bailey tried repeatedly to get him help and documented the journey on the Facebook page, Anchoring Hope for Mental Health. In a post on Thursday written just days before their deaths, Bailey said that her husband had been released from a mental health hospital. She made another post later that day saying he was struggling. And in a post on Friday, just one day before the deaths, Bailey shared that they had signed paperwork so Jeremy could begin mental health treatment. Now, I just wanted to tell you this story because it's so important for everybody. Now, I know there's people, some of my followers out there are experiencing problems with mental health, either them or their loved ones, because, it's a lonely place. It's a lonely place for both of them. It's a lonely place for the person who's suffering the mental health issues, but it's also a lonely place for the person who's trying to cope with their loved one having mental health issues. And I just wanted to say, if you are in that position, either as the person who is, if you're the one with the issues or you're the one trying to cope with them, because, trying to cope with someone who has mental health issues, doesn't do much for your mental health either. And you have to take whatever help is available for you. And the thing is, this story is in Nebraska. It could be anywhere. It could be in Spain, here where I am. It could be in Australia, where a lot of my followers are from. It could be in the UK. It could be in Ireland. It could be anywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter. Think about mental health as well. doesn't really matter, even on your financial circumstances or your relationship circumstances. You can be in a family unit like this. You might be a single parent dealing with it all on your own because the other parent, it's your child because the other parent doesn't care. Or you could be a child dealing with your parents' mental health issues. It could be your friend that's struggling. It could be anyone. And it literally, it happens all walks of life. Obviously, if people are more financially blessed, they can then at least maybe pay for some professional help rather than having to wait nearly 2 years for an appointment, which can happen, can't it? Mental health, it's just as much of a killer as cancer or any of those other type of illnesses. The problem with mental health is because you can't see it. That makes it more difficult to treat. You never know what's going on if somebody breaks their arm, or I don't know, they have a plastic, you put plaster cast on it and you wait for it to get better. It's not like that with mental health, is it? It's not even where you can go off and have chemotherapy and hopefully get better. It is more of a killer than all those, than cancer and other life-threatening illnesses. But there is not enough. How many times, do we hear of people with mental health issues going out and doing things like this? Or, it's endless, isn't it? And then, of course, you get people who use mental health issues as a reason for doing things. And often it's not a mental health issue, is it? But sometimes it's used as an excuse. But you can see in this case, this is a mental health issue. This man, mental health killed this man and his family. That was just as sure. It could have been a serial shooter. It could have been a plane crash. It could have been a bomb. It could have been, but mental health issues killed just as sure as cancer or any other, terrible illness killed this family. And in Mental Health Month, I just wanted to bring this story to people's attention. And I just wanted to plead really with people. The thing is, Bailey was looking for help. And I know there's not always an answer, isn't it? Well, there's never a quick answer. But yeah, look for help. Don't try and do it on your own either. Sometimes within a family, and I know this from personal experience, sometimes within a family you don't want to, it's embarrassing, isn't it? It's like, it's difficult to ask for help and admit that one of your family members has got this massive problem. But you have to accept that this kind of thing, it can happen to anybody. Nobody is above mental health issues, and it's so dangerous to try and deal with it yourself. And unfortunately for Bailey and the boys, well, all of them, even though Bailey tried to do it the right way, tried to get help, it just didn't work out for them. And I hope what her parents say is true. That's what they believe, that they're all together, in heaven, and his illness is gone, and, that they are. I didn't mean to get emotional, but it is very emotional. So anyway, that's why I wanted to talk about it. It's not a case maybe that will get a lot of attention, but it's so important, especially for those two young boys. They had big futures in front of them, didn't they? Sad that it's all been taken away from them, but by the person probably one of, apart from their mum. It's taken away from the person that they probably loved most in the world. And he probably loved them as well. It's just, so terribly sad. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you about that. If you're experiencing any mental health problems, of course, you're all in different, all my followers are in different parts of the world. So it's difficult for me to say, oh, you should contact these or contact them. But, find out who are the experts in your area. There'll be somewhere you can go. So even if it's just talking to other people, I'm a great believer in support groups as well, because I do think you need to be able to talk to people who are going through the same thing that you are. Because nobody else can understand it. People don't understand what it's like to live with somebody who's going through that, how difficult it is for them, but also how difficult it is for you. Sometimes I think people just don't get it. Okay, so I'm going to light a candle for them. That's all I can do, but it's the least that I can do. And pray, of course, for them. And yeah, I hope, as her mum said, they all are all together somewhere. And the illness is gone, So, for Jeremy, for Bailey, for Hudson, and for Asher. This is a candle for them, and I didn't know them. There's nothing, that I can do about it, but my thoughts and prayers are with them tonight anyway, and I hope they're all together somewhere. Thank you. Thank you for caring about them.